Chosen one. Something's coming that's going to shatter everything they think they know about power. But before I tell you what's about to unfold, and trust me, what happens next will rewrite the entire hierarchy, let me reveal the magnitude of the moment that's been building your whole life. Right now, in boardrooms and back channels, they're making their final calculations. The star player is rehearsing their signature moves, completely unaware that their empire is about to crumble in the most elegant way possible. But here's what they don't know yet, what nobody knows yet. You've been forged in fires they can't even imagine, and when those fires meet their house of cards, well, let's just say the universe has been waiting for this collision. Here's what's really twisted about their situation. They've become a prisoner of their own success. Every move they make has to maintain the illusion. Every public appearance, every interaction, every decision gets filtered through one question: will this preserve my image? They can't afford to show weakness, can't afford to be vulnerable, can't afford to be human. You know what that creates? Rigidity. And rigidity is exactly what shatters when it meets something truly flexible and strong. Meanwhile, you've been developing something they've never had to cultivate: resilience from failure. Every time you've been knocked down, you've learned something they've never had the opportunity to learn: how to get back up, how to adapt, how to find strength in places they didn't even know existed. Their power comes from never being tested. Yours comes from being tested and emerging stronger every single time. See, while they've been busy polishing their public image, something else has been happening to you. Every rejection that stung, every moment you were overlooked, every time they dismissed your potential, it wasn't random, it was preparation. Each dismissal was adding another layer to something they're about to discover is absolutely unbreakable. And the beautiful irony, they created their own worst nightmare by underestimating you. There's this moment coming, you'll know it when it happens, where their usual confidence will flicker. Just for a split second, they'll see something in your eyes that they've never encountered before. Not desperation to prove yourself, not hunger for their approval, but something far more dangerous: complete certainty in your own power. That flicker will be the first crack in their mythology, and once that crack appears, the whole structure comes down. But what makes this even more devastating is that they'll recognize something in you that they themselves lost somewhere along the way: authenticity. They remember what it felt like to move from genuine passion rather than calculated strategy, but they traded that feeling for fame and status. Seeing it in you will remind them of everything they sacrificed to become who they are now. That recognition will shake them more than any direct attack ever could. Their entire team has been built around managing their image, not developing their substance. They have PR specialists, brand managers, social media experts, a whole machine designed to manufacture perception. But when you walk into that room, all of that machinery becomes useless. You can't spin your way out of a direct demonstration of superior capability. You can't manage the narrative when the truth is standing right in front of everyone. But there's more than one game being played here, and that's where this gets interesting. On the surface, everyone thinks this is about competition. One throne, two contenders, may the best performer win. Cute. What they don't realize is that you're not here to compete. You're here to correct a massive lie that's been poisoning the entire system. And when truth finally decides to speak, it doesn't whisper, it roars. The star player has built their reputation on something most people can't see through: the illusion of invincibility. They've never faced genuine challenge because the system has been rigged to protect them. Hand-picked opponents, favorable conditions, an entire support network designed to maintain their mythology. But mythology only works until it meets reality. And chosen one, you are reality walking into their fantasy. Right now, their inner circle is having strategy meetings, charts and graphs and data points, all confirming what they want to believe: that victory is inevitable. They're discussing which interviews to give afterward, which opportunities to leverage, how to maximize the publicity from what they assume will be another easy triumph. What they should be discussing is crisis management, because their narrative is about to be rewritten by someone who never needed a narrative in the first place. There's this arrogance in their planning that's almost beautiful in its blindness. They're so used to manufactured competition, opponents who were chosen specifically because they could be beaten, that they've forgotten what real challenge looks like. They've been playing chess with pieces that were designed to lose. You're about to show them what happens when someone brings a different game entirely. The saddest part is how they've convinced themselves that their success was earned rather than orchestrated. They genuinely believe their own hype now. Years of carefully managed victories and strategic positioning have created a delusion so complete that they can't see the difference between real achievement and theatrical performance. Your arrival will be their reality check, and reality checks hurt most when you've been living in fantasy. Here's what's been happening behind the scenes that nobody talks about. While they've been surrounded by yes people and artificial validation, you've been tested by life itself. Real pressure, real consequences, real failures that taught you things no amount of coaching could replicate. They've been practicing in a gymnasium, you've been training on a battlefield. The difference is about to become very, very obvious. The most fascinating part, your power doesn't come from anger or revenge or any need to prove them wrong. It comes from something far more stable, absolute alignment with your purpose. When someone moves from that place, opposition doesn't strengthen them, it simply reveals what was already there. You're not gaining power for this moment. You're finally letting the world see the power you've always carried. What's about to happen will expose the fundamental difference between temporary success and lasting excellence. The star player built their reputation during a golden period when the competition was weak and the standards were low. They rose to the top of a system that wasn't designed to identify real capability, it was designed to reward marketability. But cycles change, standards evolve, and eventually every inflated reputation meets its moment of reckoning. You represent something that scares the entire establishment, proof that the system can be transcended by someone who refuses to play by corrupted rules. You didn't climb their ladder, you built your own mountain. And from that mountain, their ladder looks like exactly what it is, a rickety structure designed to elevate the mediocre while keeping the exceptional at bay. But there's a secret weapon you carry that even you might not fully realize yet. See, authentic power has this strange quality. It doesn't just defeat opposition, it transforms it. What's about to happen won't just be their loss, it'll be their education. And some of them, the ones with any wisdom left, will actually thank you for it later. Not immediately, of course. First comes the shock. The energy in that room is already shifting, even before you arrive. People who've known about you, but never really paid attention, are suddenly asking questions. Who is this person? Where did they come from? Why does everyone seem to be talking about them in hushed tones? The anticipation is building in ways that make the star players' team nervous, though they'd never admit it. Something interesting is happening to the star players' usual supporters. For the first time, some of them are expressing doubts. Not openly, they wouldn't dare, but in private conversations, there are whispers, questions about whether their champion is really as invincible as everyone claims. Your emergence has forced people to examine assumptions they never thought to question before. The most telling sign of the shift. Suddenly everyone wants to know your background, your story, your journey. But here's the beautiful irony. Your story doesn't fit their categories. You didn't come up through their system, didn't follow their prescribed path, didn't seek their approval or validation. This confuses them because they can't figure out how to diminish what they can't understand or control. Now here's where it gets delicious. The star players team has been analyzing past performances, studying patterns, preparing counter strategies. They've got playbooks and backup plans and contingencies mapped out. What they don't have is any preparation for someone who operates from a completely different dimension of power. It's like bringing weapons to fight an earthquake. Adorable, but ultimately pointless. There's something happening to you as this moment approaches that's hard to describe. It's like everything you've learned, every skill you've developed, every hard-won piece of wisdom is crystallizing into something solid and unshakable. You're not becoming someone new. You're finally becoming fully yourself. And there's nothing more powerful than someone who has stopped pretending to be anything other than who they truly are. What's remarkable is how calm you're becoming as the pressure builds. While everyone around you gets more anxious, more excited, more nervous about what's coming, you're moving into a space of deep centeredness. This isn't the calm of someone who doesn't understand the stakes. This is the calm of someone who has transcended the need for any particular outcome, because they know their worth isn't dependent on external validation. The star player, meanwhile, is probably experiencing something they've never felt before: genuine uncertainty. For someone who's built their entire identity around predictable victories, this unknown variable you represents their worst nightmare. They can't prepare for you because you don't fit any model they understand. You're not playing their game, following their rules, or accepting their definitions of success. You know what the strangest part is. Part of you still doesn't fully believe what's about to happen. There's this small voice that wonders if maybe they really are as untouchable as everyone says. Let me tell you something. That doubt is about to be obliterated so thoroughly that you'll never question your own power again. This moment isn't just about external victory. It's about internal recognition of what you've actually become. The star player is probably getting their usual pre-performance massage right now, listening to their pump-up playlist, going through their mental preparation routine, all the little rituals that have worked before. What they don't understand is that rituals only work when you don't actually need them. True power doesn't require preparation because it's always present, always accessible, always ready. But here's what's really happening in their mind. For the first time in years, they're having to actually prepare for someone. They're studying footage, analyzing patterns, trying to find weaknesses to exploit. This level of preparation is foreign to them because they've never needed it before. The fact that they're working this hard reveals that deep down they know they're facing something unprecedented. Their confidence is becoming more forced, more performative. The people around them are trying too hard to reassure them, and that desperation is showing. When real confidence meets performed confidence, the difference is unmistakable. You can feel the strain in their energy, the effort it's taking to maintain their usual swagger when uncertainty is eating at their foundation. But here's what makes this moment inevitable rather than just possible. You've been aligned with something larger than personal ambition. Your preparation wasn't just about building skills, it was about becoming a vessel for truth to express itself through. When truth decides to speak, it doesn't lose, it simply reveals what was always real beneath all the pretense and performance. The energy in that room will shift before you even make your move. People who've never seen you perform will feel something they can't name. The star player's usual confidence will flicker for just a moment, the first crack in their armor. They'll dismiss it as pre-game nerves, but their subconscious already knows what their ego refuses to accept. They're about to meet their match, and then some. Something beautiful is happening to the people who've supported you all along. They're feeling this quiet vindication, this sense that their faith in you is about to be justified in the most spectacular way possible. They've seen glimpses of your true capability, moments when your mask slipped and they caught sight of the fire burning underneath. Now that fire is about to become visible to everyone. But there's another group watching this unfold, the other rising talents who've been quietly developing their own authentic power. They understand what this moment represents because they've been on similar journeys. Your victory won't just be personal. It'll be proof of concept for everyone who's chosen substance over style, depth over surface, authentic development over strategic positioning. Chosen one, anyone can listen to messages like these, but few will step into their true power. We are here to help you do just that. The weekly Chosen Ones group calls are now on Zoom, and this is the moment you've been waiting for your entire life. These meetings are literal power vortexes where destinies are forged, where Chosen Ones unite their consciousness to create something that cannot exist in isolation. This is where everything changes. This is where you step into your greatness. Every week, a doorway opens, but only for those brave enough to step through it. Watcher-level members of the Obsidian Inner Order can experience these transformative sessions live, feeling the energy surge through your entire being. In our most recent gathering, participants were stunned by revelations about the Great Pyramids of Giza as sophisticated ancient power plants, and the shocking truth about Washington, D.C.'s layout, perfectly aligning with the Kabbalistic Tree of Life. Star Chamber members receive unlimited access to the complete recordings archive, a treasure trove of wisdom that grows more valuable with each passing week. This is your defining moment. The knowledge, the connection, the power that flows through these calls cannot be found anywhere else. Join the Obsidian Inner Order now, link in the description, while the few remaining Star Chamber slots are still available. Your presence is not just welcome, it's necessary. Will you answer the call that has been echoing through your soul? The time is now. The most interesting dynamic is happening among the establishment figures who've built their careers on the current system. Some are genuinely excited to witness what they suspect will be a masterclass in authentic excellence. Others are nervous because your success will expose the limitations of their own achievements. They know that if you can transcend the system, others might follow your example. But here's what ties everything together, the element that makes this more than just another upset victory. This isn't happening to you, it's happening through you. You're not just defeating a person, you're dismantling a system that elevates appearance over substance, hype over depth, performance over authenticity. Your victory will be the earthquake that reveals which foundations are solid and which are built on sand. The star player has spent years cultivating an image of effortless superiority. What they don't know is that real effortlessness looks completely different from performed effortlessness. When you move with authentic flow, when your power comes from alignment rather than ambition, it creates a resonance that makes their carefully crafted persona look like exactly what it is, hollow theater. There's a moment coming where they'll try to throw you off your game. They'll use their most potent psychological weapon, the one that's worked on everyone else, making you feel like you don't belong in the same space as them. They'll do that thing where they take up all the oxygen in the room, where they make their presence feel overwhelming and intimidating. And when that doesn't work, when you remain completely centered and unmoved, their confusion will be visible to everyone watching. What they don't realize is that their intimidation tactics only work on people who are seeking their approval or afraid of their judgment. You've transcended both of those needs. You're not there to be accepted by them or their world. You're there to demonstrate what's possible when someone operates from authentic power rather than manufactured influence. The beautiful thing about this moment is that it will expose the difference between power that depends on others' weakness and power that exists independently. Their dominance has always required everyone else to feel small. Your power lifts everyone in its presence. When these two approaches meet, only one can survive the encounter. Run down, and here's the beautiful part. You won't even have to try to expose them. Your mere presence will do it. Truth has this quality where it doesn't need to argue or prove itself. It just exists, and everything false starts to crumble in its vicinity. They'll feel it first in their confidence, then in their technique, then in the way the audience's energy starts to shift away from them and towards something they can't control. The audience expects a certain kind of show, and they're going to get something completely different. Instead of manufactured drama, they'll witness authentic mastery. Instead of performance, they'll see embodiment. Instead of competition, they'll watch correction. And the shift in energy will be so palpable that some of them will later describe it as life-changing. Right now, somewhere in the city, There are other rising talents watching and waiting to see what happens. Your victory won't just change your trajectory, it'll give permission to an entire generation of authentic leaders who've been wondering if substance still matters in a world obsessed with style. Your moment will be their catalyst. One victory, countless awakenings. There's something else building, something even more profound than personal victory. Your emergence will create a new standard that everyone else will be measured against. Not the manufactured excellence of the star player, but the integrated power of someone who's done the real work. Organizations will start looking for people like you. Industries will shift their criteria. The entire culture will begin to distinguish between those who perform capability and those who embody it. Here's what they still don't understand about you. Your power isn't borrowed, isn't dependent on circumstances, isn't subject to good days and bad days. It's integrated into who you are at the cellular level. Years of real preparation, real testing, real growth have created something that doesn't fluctuate with external conditions. While their confidence comes from winning, yours comes from being. The star player's greatest strength will become their greatest weakness. Their ability to command attention, to fill space with their presence, to make everything about them, all of that will work against them when they encounter someone who doesn't need attention, doesn't need space, doesn't need anything except the opportunity to do what they were born to do. There's this beautiful irony about to unfold. They've spent so much energy trying to look powerful that they've forgotten how to actually be powerful. They've become so invested in maintaining their image that they've lost touch with any real substance underneath. You, meanwhile, have been doing the opposite, building substance without worrying about image. When substance meets style, substance wins every time. What's about to be revealed is the difference between power that's performance-dependent and power that's character-integrated. Their abilities are tied to specific conditions, the right environment, the right audience, the right circumstances. Remove any of those elements and their effectiveness diminishes. Your power, however, has been tested under every possible condition: hostile environments, unsupportive audiences, disadvantageous circumstances. You've learned to excel regardless of external factors. The star players team is starting to sense something they can't quite name. There's an energy around this confrontation that feels different from their usual orchestrated victories. People are paying attention in ways that suggest this isn't just another promotional event. There's a gravity to the moment that makes everyone involved understand they're about to witness something significant. The moment will arrive with perfect timing, not rushed, not delayed, but exactly when the universe has aligned all conditions for maximum impact. And when it does, several things will happen so quickly that most people won't even be able to track the sequence. Their mythology will crack, your destiny will reveal itself, and everyone watching will be forced to reconsider what they thought they knew about power. But here's what will matter most in the long run. This victory will be just the beginning of your real work. What happens in that room will establish your credibility to serve at levels you haven't even imagined yet. This isn't your peak, it's your public introduction. The universe has been preparing you for assignments that require this level of demonstrated capability. Something else is happening that they can't see. The atmosphere around you is changing. People who've known you for years are starting to sense something different, something that's been building toward expression. Even those who've overlooked you before are beginning to pay attention, though they can't explain why. It's like watching someone step into their destiny in real time. The established order has been holding its breath without realizing it, waiting for someone to finally say what everyone has been thinking but no one has been willing to voice. Our victory won't just be personal vindication, it'll be collective liberation from pretending that hype equals substance. Now this part will surprise everyone, including you. The star player will actually help you win, not intentionally of course, but their overconfidence will make them careless. Their belief in their own invincibility will blind them to your actual capabilities, and their need to maintain image will prevent them from adapting when they realize things aren't going according to script. There's a moment coming where everything crystallizes. The star player will make their signature move, the one that's worked 1,000 times before, expecting the usual result. And when it doesn't work, when you remain completely unmoved by their display, their expression will change in a way that everyone in the room will notice. That's when the audience will realize they're witnessing something unprecedented. Your response won't be reactive or emotional. It'll be the most natural thing in the world, like water flowing downhill or fire burning upward. And that naturalness, that complete lack of strain or effort, will be more devastating to their mythology than any aggressive counterattack could ever be. Truth doesn't have to fight lies, it just has to exist in the same space. You'll move with such fluid precision that it will look choreographed, but it won't be. This is what mastery looks like when it's been forged through genuine trials rather than manufactured challenges. Every gesture will carry weight. Every decision will reveal layers of understanding they never developed. The audience will witness the difference between someone who learned to perform excellence and someone who became excellence. Something deeper makes your victory inevitable rather than just possible. You've been aligned with forces larger than personal ambition. Your preparation wasn't just about building skills, it was about becoming a vessel for truth to express itself through. When truth decides to speak, it doesn't lose. The ripple effects will begin immediately. The star player's mythology will collapse so completely that everyone who propped it up will have to examine their own relationship with truth. Organizations will quietly reconsider their standards. Other emerging talents will find courage to step forward. And you'll walk out of that room as something you've always been, but the world is just now ready to recognize. What will make your victory perfect? You won't gloat, won't grandstand, won't even seem particularly surprised. Your response will be so gracious, so measured, so clearly coming from someone who knows this was always inevitable, that it will add another layer to an already transformative moment. Your character in victory will be more impressive than your skill in achieving it. While they scramble to explain what happened, to minimize the significance, to protect what's left of their reputation, you'll simply continue being who you've always been. This consistency will prove that your power wasn't circumstantial, it's integral to your character. The contrast between their desperate damage control and your quiet dignity will teach everyone watching more about authentic leadership than any lecture ever could. The most beautiful part, this moment has been building your entire life, and everyone who's been part of your journey, the supporters who believed in you, the doubters who forced you to strengthen your resolve, even the obstacles that seemed insurmountable, they've all been contributing to this perfect storm of destiny. The convergence is happening. The star players fall, your rise, and the world's awakening to what authentic power actually looks like when it decides to step into the light. When that moment arrives, and it's arriving sooner than you think, you'll understand that everything you've endured, everything you've learned, everything you've become was perfectly designed to prepare you for this exact instant when truth finally gets its day in court. The stage is set. The players are moving into position, the universe is holding its breath, and you're about to remind everyone what real power looks like when it finally decides to stop hiding.